It turns out that the museum buffs for Julius Caesar are so damn good, he is viable again. And the report you see on your screen here is not a lie. 43,500 to 25,500 with equivalent equipment and no armaments attached. So this is really insane. Stick around in this video for the things you really need to know about Julius Caesar and his double relic. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and I can't believe that like 4.5 years after the launch of the game, we're talking about Julius Caesar being relevant again. And in this video, which has been sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms, I want to show you exactly how powerful the double relic is on Julius Caesar, based on some testing that I did with my friend Irisden in an Ark of Osiris practice match. Now, for those of you scratching your head a little bit going, museum buff? What are you talking about? Double relic? What is that? This building over here is called the museum. You gain access to this in KVK Season 4 and beyond. And within the museum, you can use special currency to unlock the exhibit and then unlock the relic on different commanders. Now, the relic for Julius Caesar started at 10% all damage and 10% march speed. And I did testing with this, and it was good. It was actually very good, but only truly viable on commanders that generated ridiculous amounts of rage or had a rage cost reduction. I'll explain why that is in a little bit. But first, I want to show you the fact that there is now a double relic available. For an extra 1,800 relic currency, you get a grand total of 20% march speed and 20% all damage. And that's on top of everything else the commander already does. Now that is a lot of all damage. And all damage is far and away the best stat boost you can get in the game. Technically, it's not a stat, but you know what I mean. It's one of the best boosts you can find on a commander. All damage. And the march speed is really good because Julius Caesar works with anybody as the secondary, okay? He can be the secondary, and then he can work with any troop type. He doesn't care about whatever troop type you need to bring. So if we look at his kit, why is it that he's working? What Julius Caesar does is for 5 seconds, he will boost your attack by 20%, your defense by 20%, and your all damage by 30%. So your goal with Julius Caesar is one of two things, okay? The first thing that you could do is you could use him as the secondary commander, and you hope that his skill is active long enough that by the time the primary commander goes to do another skill cycle, for their big damage ability, they'll hopefully still have the 30% all damage. The other way you could use Julius Caesar is with leadership gear and have him as the primary, which is a very interesting idea with the addition of the new leadership gear to the game. And then you're guaranteed that your secondary hero will get the benefit of all this extra damage from Julius Caesar. So in order to figure out if the double relic was any good, Irisden went in and he unlocked it, and we did a practice match where he used Skippy primary with a Julius Caesar secondary. Now, Julius Caesar is the sort of category of commander I would call an amplifier, someone who enhances what another commander will do. And there's a couple reasons why this is the case. We already talked about the active skill, very much an amplification effect, okay? But also he's bringing more troops. And more troops means that your active skills will hit for more damage, because damage factor-based abilities look to your troop count in part to determine how much damage they will deal. So Julius Caesar is extremely similar to commanders like Hans Rakatsu, even technically Mehmed and Trajan, all fall into this category of being an amplifier. So anywhere one of those commanders might have been good, Julius Caesar could be good as a secondary commander or potentially as the primary commander. Although, look, most of us don't have leadership gear, okay? Even though, they just added new leadership gear, even the old leadership gear, most people are not freaking mental, okay? And have gone in and crit other stuff, which that's topic for a separate video, okay? So first thing I want to do is just very briefly show you the equipment that was used for the test, okay? I brought several combinations to duel against the Skippy Caesar. The combinations that I used were Guan with Skippy, and I brought this equipment that you see here, pretty much all iconic, all crit, and very much equivalent to what Irisden had, and I'll show you that in a minute. From here, this is the gear that I brought on my Nevsky. It's the best gear that I have. I'm missing 2 iconics, but also I have some KVK stuff that Iris Den doesn't have. So we figured that was roughly equivalent. And then on my Boudica, I brought Boudica Isong, and the Boudica Isong combo, same sort of story. I've got the full crit iconic archer set, but no crits and no iconics on the accessories. So there is that one little asterisk in the test results. It's like, okay, technically I don't have iconics on everything, but the equipment is pretty close. So let me show you what Iris Den had for his equipment. I'll put that on the screen now. Also, I'll flash on the screen very briefly the talents that he was using on his Skippy Prime. And one other thing I'll mention is that we switched to formations where there were no armaments equipped. So I'm sure you've seen this, but if I go to my Guan, for example, and if I switch to a different formation, let's go to Echelon, you can see that, okay, no armaments are equipped. It's kind of like the old armaments I had are saved as a preset, sort of. They're technically attached to Guan still, but not active. So that's how we made the armaments aspect of the battling equal, is we switched to either line formation or echelon formation because neither of those affects 1v1 combat. And that was the goal, to be able to test 1v1 combat. Now keep in mind, 1v1 combat is not reflective of real open field where area of effect damage plays a massive, massive role in the outcomes in the battle. However, let's go look at these battle outcomes now, and I think you will be absolutely shocked. First up is the report I showed you initially. 43,500 to 25,500 in favor of the Skippy with Caesar. Wow. I got freaking wrecked by Skippy Caesar, and it's not even close. In the next report, 34,800 to 29,500. Thankfully, it starts to even up a little bit, but still, Skippy Caesar got the win. Man, that's a big deal. From there, 29,200 to 32,800, I finally get a W with the Guan Skippy, which is the sort of poster child, the golden infantry combo, the sort of best of the best that you would sort of expect your average player to bring to the field. Wow. Okay, finally I get the W. And by the way, that's extra impressive because he does have extra troops in here, but remember, he's supposed to have those extra troops. Every time I make a video like this, I get a comment that the test results are wrong because the troop counts are different. The reason the troop counts are different is because Julius Caesar has a 4th skill that is giving him more troop capacity. So that is fully 100% expected. The troop capacity ability is, there it is, right there on screen, right? So he's supposed to have 15% more troops, and we reflect that in the troop count, okay? So we're both VIP 18, same VIP level, but that's why he's got extra troops, and that's 100% correct and intended. From here, the next report, 39,500 to 28,971. 3 out of 4 battles that we did, the Skippy Caesar is the winner. This is very different, by the way, than when Julius Caesar had only 1 relic on him. And I did that testing long ago. I'll have a card up in the top and remind you of that in the end screen. But the 10% extra all damage is nothing short of transformative. And I hope that you remember that when you think about the value of all damage anywhere that it shows up, for example, in your armaments. So from here, it's like, okay, the Skippy Caesar gets the win. What about if we move over to the archers? Surely archers will win. And it started out that way. 27,000 to 31,900 is a solid win for the archers. Boudica Isong doing work. But then 33,700 to 28,900. The freaking archers, okay, lost to infantry. GG. Now the Isong is double relicked, okay, of course. We go to the next one, 34,500 to 27,000. So Skippy Caesar is pulling out the win again. And then we do it again, 30,200 to 29,800. Once again, the Skippy Caesar is pulling down 3 wins out of 4 battles, and that is with the troop counter typing. Now, I will say there is one thing we haven't really accounted for yet, which is that Iris Den is using a infantry civilization. I believe he's the Vikings, okay? And I am using the German civilization. So now let's see what happens when I have the special unit, just like how he has the special unit. We bring out the cavalry. Now remember, cavalry are countered by infantry, and I get the L, which is unbelievable. With Nevsky Joan, 41,900 to 38,400. I'm losing with Nevsky Joan. That is insane. Up next, 30,500 to 36,000. I get a win. Thank goodness, because these cavalry are supposed to be getting wins. They are so good at duels and in field. But then I lose again. 43,800 to 37,900. And last but not least, I win. 31,100 to 36,900. So 50-50 with the Nevsky Joan, which is kind of unbelievable. Now, we ran a couple other just sort of like looking to see what would happen sort of tests here with a Julius Caesar Harold Sigurdsson combo. I don't think this combo is particularly strong because although Julius Caesar does give you a nice activation of all damage, a part of what Harold does is giving you all damage too, and those abilities don't stack. Active skills do not stack with each other. So the all damage from their active skills will overwrite each other, not stack. Very important to understand. And then also we ran a test over here, kind of like just to see. I used a Skippy Honda. He used the Harold Caesar again. It doesn't work. We tried it just to see what would happen. And so now we can talk about the conclusions. Where does this leave us for Julius Caesar with the double relic? And are you saying, Chisgule Gaming, that Julius Caesar is meta? And I'm not actually going to go so far as to say that Julius Caesar is meta. I am going to say, however, that he is viable. He's viable in a way that I didn't expect. But what does Julius Caesar miss? Julius Caesar is missing area of effect damage. Julius Caesar is missing big debuffs, okay? And he's thankfully got a lot of march speed and some extra troop capacity. So those are the things he does well and the things that he is really falling down on. And that's why he doesn't quite make the meta. Because although the march speed is good, the all damage and enhancement and amplification is really good, he's still only kind of has a scale of 1, so to speak. He'll enhance the march that he's in, which is what an amplifying commander does. But he doesn't have more broad effect. So what are some examples of more broad effect? Well, even Mehmed, who I would also say is not meta, but is really good, is going to do area of effect damage. Okay, so Mehmed is an amplifier as well. He enhances your skill damage, and he does area of effect damage. If we look a little bit further, we could look at another amplifier like Honda Tadakatsu, who also is very good, but probably not in the best of the best lineup. Because, yes, he does have a march speed reduction, and the march speed reduction is amazing. The debuff is very good. And he has area of effect damage, which is very good. And he's also an amplifier. All that's very, very good. But your sort of ideal amplifier, okay, looks a little bit more like you'd see in Trajan, who I have equipped all the way up here, right? Where his scale goes way beyond his own march. What does that mean? He is giving rage to 4 marches plus his, and he is making the target take more all damage, okay, 20% more all damage taken, which scales with the number of people that hit that same target. And that's why I think Trajan is meta, but Julius Caesar is not. And that's why in a kingdom like 1960, which is going to use the best of the best with every single player, I guarantee you, although a few players may dabble with Caesar, the recommendation isn't going to include Caesar. So this brings us back to the question of who should work on Caesar. And I think if you unlocked him from gold keys and you have relic currency, that you could use it on Caesar, and I think you would be pleasantly surprised with how good it will be. Now, what combos do I think are viable? There are really a number of combos that work, and I think these also will surprise you. But I would look for a commander that would benefit profoundly from the sort of amplifier effect of tankiness and damage boost. That includes Skippy Prime. That includes Guan Yu, I think is a great candidate. Big area of effect damage and loves everything that Julius Caesar is doing. I actually think, strangely enough, that Nebu with Caesar would be shockingly good. I would need to look at this more closely, so I haven't done that yet, but the fact that you get a ton of march speed and tankiness and amplification seems actually fantastic for Nebu. Also, XY paired with Caesar seems really good. And even Joan Prime. Yeah, I think Joan Prime with Caesar would be surprisingly good. There are a lot of combos where you could drop in an amplifier like Caesar with the double relic and be really happy. The other place where I think the double relic Caesar is really, really good is in Ark of Osiris. And why is that? I've said many times when I'm casting Ark of Osiris on the official Rise of Kingdoms channel and on my own that Julius Caesar and like pure filler marches suck. I hate when people try to fill the altar or the ruins with like Freddy Caesar as the combo, because it can't fight, man. It can't fight at all. So I really like the idea of using a combination like Skippy with Caesar, potentially, as your filler march in Ark of Osiris. Because not only do you have more troop capacity and a ton of march speed, but then you can fight with it when you need to fight with it. And it's not just a dead march in the field when the enemy takes it and you got to go take the building back, for example. So I think that Julius Caesar now has a more interesting role in Ark because he can be used as a part of a filling combo that also can be a fighting combo. And look, I'm not the Ark of Osiris League champion, so I could be wrong there, but I think the insight is valuable for a lot of people, even if you're not competing at the highest tiers. I think that could be pretty cool to get more troops into the building, moving fast with 20% extra march speed on the relic, and also being combat viable. Now, if you found this video helpful, do me that huge favor of honoring me by throwing a like on the video and subscribing to the channel to get more videos just like this one. And if you're looking for more information about Julius Caesar and what happens when you actually can generate more rage with him, it's really crazy. I'll have a card in the end screen for the last round of Relic Level 1 testing on Julius Caesar, because I think you will be pretty surprised at the number of combos that are going to be viable with Julius Caesar.